on the point of saying no, one thing that I've actually found helpful, obviously, if you have a path forward and you have a framework, and we do call this the digital growth blueprint. Growth is an acronym, and it starts with your goals. What are the three things you're really striving for? And the question is, well, why three? Well, omni trium perfectum, it's Latin. All good things come in threes. So you have these three things that you're striving for, but then the R is the roadblock. What stands in the way? And I think the more that we at least gain clarity into the potential roadblocks, we can identify them. And then that takes us to the O. What are the opportunities to overcome, eliminate the roadblocks, or transform the obstacles into opportunities to make progress towards the stated goals for growth? Then we move into the W. It's putting the who before the how. Where are the collaborations going to come from? Is it an internal collaboration, or do we need to work externally with external partners to bridge internal capability capacity gaps? Takes us to the T. It's the tools and the technologies that we need to move forward, whether it's the internal or external collaboration. Then finally, it's the W. Now it's the how. Now we're getting to the tactics of how we can move forward, but breaking those down into smaller 90-day sprints. So we call this the 90-day growth method. And that's where you are cycling through 4 different environments every 90 days. You're learning, you're thinking, you're then doing, but then you're going to create space and time to review what you've done, to then learn, think, do even better through the next 90-day period of time. So when requests do come in, hey, we need you to do this, or hey, can you help us with that? Having that 90-day growth method says, let's pause. Do we have the capability? Do we have the capacity? Do we have the capital to do this? Will it help us move towards and make progress towards our goals for growth? Or is it a distraction? Is it a roadblock? And a lot of these tools, if you think about where conflict comes within the organization, it's typically between people. It's communication. And so you have person A on one side, person B or team on the other side, but then the tool becomes an objective third party that sits at the top of a triangle. And now you're speaking through the tool instead of to the person. You're speaking through the tool, through the model, through the framework. Common language comes back into play, and that can eliminate a lot of the conflict right there. But the other thing too is when it comes to saying no, not yet. Because a lot of times people don't like to hear no, we can't do this. No, we can't do that. I hear you. You want to do this? I love it. It's a fantastic idea. Let's go put that in our innovation jar. What's the innovation jar? Well, the innovation jar has typically been called the parking lot by other organizations, the back burner by other organizations. Well, the thing with back burners is things get cold on the back burner. The things in the parking lot, they just sit parked there. But the innovation jar, if you're going through that 90-day growth methodology, now every 90 days, we can come back to the innovation jar, review what has been added to the jar, and then prioritize them against the goals, roadblocks, and opportunities that we've set out for the context of this particular year. So it makes the pain of no, and I know before we hit record, we were talking about our kids and families. My kids hate no. So one of the things that I've used over the years, can we do this? I don't know, not yet. Maybe. But they've started to wise up that they think, well, that's going to be a no. And I'm like, does it mean no? Because sometimes those not yets or maybes, they end up becoming yeses, but it's all contextual to time. And so whenever I say no, but let's come back and revisit that, it gives them that hope and expectation that, you know what, he's not going to forget about it. So we write it down, we come back, we revisit it. That's the idea of the innovation jar, because the not yet is less painful than the sting and the pain of no. What's your take? Where's an opportunity to apply some of this thinking within your own framework and methodology here?
I'm gonna back up a little. I mean, I celebrate everything that you just said, because it definitely resonates with me. There's a couple of things I would add, and maybe just something also to inject. One would be to add, no is actually a positive thing in a lot of ways.
Very true.
In our organization, when we get to talking to the employees and the supervisors and the middle managers, they're praying we'll say no occasionally to something
Yes.
because it creates a lot of pain for them.
Yeah.
And it's more systems to learn and it's more, workflows to have to follow. Can you please simplify things and say no to more? So we're actually seeing the organization celebrating.
Beautiful.
I do love your comment though, the not yet. Um, because I think the reason I love that so much is because I also wouldn't want our employees to think that no is a permanent thing and it will never happen because
Right.
we might put it in the innovation jar and pull it out a year from now,
Sure.
and we don't want there to be to send a mixed message
Yeah.
around. So I
Stifle
love the idea of
innovation.
switching that to, yeah, to
Yeah.
not yet.
Yeah.
The other thing I would add, or add to, or maybe look at it through a different lens. You went through your acronym, and I'll share with you that in our part of that strategic framework was first identifying our strategic identity,
Mm.
4 pillars of the strategic identity that we were going to evangelize around.
Yeah.
And in our case, our W, the who, relationships is one of our tenets, our strategic pillars.
Yeah.
If we aren't connecting with one another, if we can't rely on our business partners, rely on our internal teams, rely on the quality of the leadership that we've put together and our company partners and our members in some cases, then we aren't going to win.
Mm.
So, relationships is the who. It's really, really important to us to cultivate and foster those relationships.
I'm glad I'm
And
glad
the
you
other, go ahead.
no, I just wanted to pause you real fast. I'm glad you brought the who up because and the idea of relationship. If I look ahead and well, first if I look back to 2020 and how much that chaos put people into a state of conflict and just negative emotion.
Mhm.
Same
Yep.
thing. It's like 2021, 2022, 2023. It's like, can we just get a break, please? As we
Yeah.
look ahead into 2024 and even beyond, I am predicting that EX, employee
Mhm.
experience, will be a key determining factor of those who provide a positive HX human experience that can then be multiplied
Mhm.
through a positive DX, a digital experience.